right. Thank you, Mr. Jovi. Welcome to Dead or Alive. I am your host, James Parker, playing for 2 tickets to see Midland at the Pavilion Toyota Music Factory, November 30th. Tickets now, livenation.com. Let's just get to it. Catherine in Fort Worth, you ready for Dead or Alive?
Yeah, I hope I can perform under pressure.
Well, you know how this works. I named 10 celebrities. You just have to name if they're dead or alive. It's that easy.
Do you stop after each one?
Yeah. And you give an answer after each one. But listen, this is the election edition. Since tomorrow's the election, all 10 of these people have been on a recent campaign ticket, presidential ticket.
And you're asking me if they're dead or alive?
That's it. Here, we'll just start out. It starts out easy. Al Gore, is he dead or alive?
He's alive.
He is alive, 76 years old. See, wasn't that easy? Next one. His running mate, Joe Lieberman. Is he dead or alive?
I think he's still alive.
Nope, Joe Lieberman is dead.
Damn it. He just died then because he hadn't been dead that long. But go ahead.
Actually, yeah, he just died in March.
That's what I thought. Darn it.
All right, Kath.
Anyway.
You're adorable, but I got to go to the next person.
I know. I did horrible.
Thank you very much.
At the end, I don't get to play anymore.
I'll put you on hold. Maybe we can cycle back to you if we have like 4 more misses. How about that? Charlie in Fort Worth, you ready for Dead or Alive?
Ready.
Hey, you ready?
Ready. Yeah.
Bob Dole, dead or alive?
Dead.
He is dead. Died in 2021. His running mate was Jack Kemp. Is he dead or alive?
Alive.
Jack Kemp died in 2009, sir. Thank you very much, Charlie. Zach in Fort Worth, you're next up on Dead or Alive. Election edition, you ready?
I'm ready.
Michael Dukakis, dead or alive?
He is dead.
Michael Dukakis is 91 years old and still alive, sir.
Oh, God.
I know, that's terrible. All right, hang on. Let's try Gordon. Gordon?
Yep. Hi.
Hey, Gordon in Greenville, you ready for Dead or Alive?
I'm ready.
All right, Michael Dukakis' running mate on the Democrat ticket in 1992, wasn't it? That was Lloyd Benson. Is he dead or alive?
He's dead.
Yes, he's dead. Former Texas senator. George H.W. Bush, the first George, is he dead or alive?
He's dead.
He is dead. His vice president was Dan Quayle. Is Dan Quayle dead or alive?
He's alive.
Dan Quayle is alive. In 1984, Walter Mondale was the Democrat nominee. Is he dead or alive?
He's dead.
He is dead. His running mates for all the bones or for the tickets to see Midland, Geraldine Ferraro, dead or alive?
She's dead.
She is dead. All right. It goes to Gordon in Greenville. You're my big winner on today's episode of Dead or Alive. You're going to get 2 tickets to see Midland. Don't hang up. Garrett will get your information. We'll email you tickets to see Midland at the Pavilion at Toyota Music Factory on November 30th. Tickets now, livenation.com. All right, Mr. Jovi, hit the theme. Hey there, welcome back to the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. It is Election Day Eve, 800-288-9227. If you want to talk about the election, I'm here for that. Also, the latest details on the Cowboys injury report. Dak Prescott will be out for, as it's described, several weeks, which means now that we're, what are we, 3-5? Season's over, bro. We just got our Sundays back. I mean, that's kind of a bad, but that's also kind of I have a lot of stuff I need to get done, some stuff around the house I need to get done. CeeDee Lamb might even play this Sunday against the Eagles, but he has a strained AC joint and a sore shoulder. So $125 million worth of cap space on the injury list right now. No big deal. Why does Steve Lamb make me tell you the ugly stuff? That was rude. Javier Perez is my next guest. Been on plenty of times here locally from Crane Brogdon, a local lawyer firm here. And Javier, the question I have, legally speaking, since we're on election eve, what are the rules around politics in the workplace? Can an employer and an employee, is there some sort of rules or constraints on what politics can be had at the workplace?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Absolutely. The rules are a lot stricter for public employers, so local government, that sort of thing. In the private sector, the employer essentially calls the shots and can dictate what's allowed in terms of topics of conversation, what kind of merch or other kind of paraphernalia you can bring or display or wear. And can really kind of set the tone for what they're going to tolerate and not. It's their domain. It's their home. So they can dictate what's going to be allowed.
Yeah, I remember like 4 jobs ago, there was someone in the newsroom that would put up political stuff in their cubicle, and someone else complained, and I was like, why do y'all even care? But boy, people really get upset about this stuff.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, we say this every cycle, I think, but, with the tensions running as high as they are, you can understand kind of people having such big feelings about it. I guess not be surprised that people have such big feelings about it, but you're right. I mean, we all have our preferences and, should expect to disagree with one another, I would think, but workplace makes it more complicated.
Does an employer have any obligation to his employees to let you have some time off to go vote?
You are allowed to go vote. You can't be fired for voting. But that's been something I know, like DISD, for example, closed entirely tomorrow for employees to vote. So it's really kind of more of a something they're opting into. But it is something that's recognized. Yeah.
All right. So when we have the election tomorrow, I don't think we're going to have the answer by Wednesday. As a lawyer, you've got to see this as, they can stretch this out for weeks.
Yeah, I mean, if 2020 is any predictor, we kind of were laying in suspense for I don't even remember how many days. But certainly those tensions can run high in the workplace and everywhere else. So hopefully we're not in suspense too long, because it is a stressful time.
Javier, is there some class action lawsuit that the people of North Texas can file against Jerry Jones for his terrible mismanagement of the salary cap?
I mean, just for mental anguish alone, collectively, the stress that we've all been put through with this, I mean, I don't know if we'll ever recover.
Right.
So if there's a way, we'll figure that out.
All right. A counselor with humor. You can find him at cranebrogdon.com. Javier Perez, thank you for being on the show again.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
All right. Let's stay with the phones here. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. I wanted to see, was there a comma? There was a comma. Let's see. Isaiah in Irving, you're on WBAP. Who are you voting for and why?
Kamala Harris, because she's the best for the job.
The best for the what?
She's the best candidate for the job.
For jobs. What are you basing this on?
I mean, she's been in the government. She has been an attorney general. I mean, more than Trump, he barely got into the politics a couple of years ago.
Right,
so,
but I mean, what makes you think she would be better for jobs?
No, for the job, not for the job. Yeah,
I misunderstood. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. And also, I'm voting for her because Donald Trump insulted me and all my family.
He did?
Yeah, when he called all Mexicans are rapists and this and this and that.
Oh, so you think he called all Mexicans that?
For the most part, you don't.
Oh, do you call? No, do you agree that?
You don't call a demographic of the population and insult them like that.
Like calling them garbage or deplorable?
I mean, who called who garbage?
Yeah, well, Biden called us garbage. Hillary called us deplorable.
That comment is a little bit, misunderstood.
Well, do you think
what was said at the rally was plain and simple? Some people can play as a joke, but
Isaiah.
I got a question for you, James.
No, hang on. Let me do one more, and I like questions for me too. This is a real quick yes or no. Of all the people that have come here illegally, are any of them rapists or murderers?
I'm pretty sure they are.
Yeah. So that's what he meant. That's all he meant. Some of the people coming here are rapists and murderers, and we have a legal immigration system so we can vet these people and at least try and keep some of them out. He definitely wasn't calling all Mexicans rapists and murderers. Anyway, and your question for me?
The question is for you. What do you think is the political outlook for Texas, in the next 10, 20 years with the Hispanic population growing up?
I see it's going to stay red, but it'll be razor thin because as the Hispanic population stays here, successive generations turn more red. And it kind of makes sense in the way culturally, not economically, but the cultural shifts have put the Hispanic camp more in the team red than team blue. I mean, you don't want to mutilate the genitals of minor children for the most part. But for like cultural issues like that, I think the Hispanic vote is actually going to calcify us into a red state more so than pull us blue.
Is that what you think?
Yes.
Well, I've met a lot of Hispanic people, and I can tell you from probably there's only 2 people that have spoken from the Hispanic population that I've talked to that will vote for Trump. Only 2 I'm talking about roughly
That's cool.
70 people.
Listen, we're closer than you think, Isaiah. You can look up my cousin Rene Perez. He ran for constable in Webb County. That's Laredo. He's Hispanic. He's voting for Trump. They're big Republicans. There's plenty of them. They exist.
But that's what I'm saying. My point is, you can't, desensitize a whole part of the population, calling them, they're garbage, they're immigrants. All this hateful rhetoric. It's not gonna help the Republican team down the line.
Right, but you're being told that, Isaiah. You're being told that's hateful rhetoric. You don't feel that's hateful rhetoric that Joe Biden called all the Trump supporters garbage, but you do think it's hateful rhetoric that Donald Trump referred to some illegal immigrants as rapists and murderers. So you're not giving it a fair shake. You've kind of been groomed there. Yeah. Great call. I'm not cutting you off. I really am out of time. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there. Welcome to the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Who you voting for and why? 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Saturday Night Live doing politics again, and they seem to have moderated a little bit. Well, at least they're making fun of Biden now. After all the gifts that this guy's given us for the last 4 years, they finally just started making fun of him like 3 shows ago because he's non-consequential. So here's Dana Carvey coming out and making fun of him in what they call the cold open, the opening skit. Dana Carvey's hilarious as Joe Biden.
Hey there. It's me, Bill Joe.
Joe Biden, thank you for coming here to support me.
Of course, my train was stopping here, so I'm being serious right now. And by the way, it's good to be back on my home turf. Guess what? As you know, I'm from the part of Pennsylvania that is a part of the state of Delaware.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for all you've done for my campaign.
I can still do more and get out there and I can say more things.
Thank you so much for all you've done for my campaign.
All right, kid. All right, I get it. Come on. Let's get real. I'm proud of you. You got nothing to worry about. Come on.
Thanks, Joe.
All right. You know what? I saw a bunch of reporters and cameras out there. I'm going to go ref.
I'm going to go ref. Joe in Keene. Hey, Joe in Keene, you're on WBAP. Go. Joe, you with me?
Hello?
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah, I'm here, sorry. Anyways, I just wanted to say that I voted for Donald Trump last week, and I was kind of a Trump convert, so to speak. So in 2016, I'm a Republican. I wanted to vote for him, and I just kind of didn't like his rhetoric and all of that. I couldn't vote for Hillary because of my political beliefs. So I wrote in Ted Cruz. I was a big Ted Cruz guy, but Trump won me over during his term.
Listen to how. Hang on a second. I'm going to put pause on you, and I want to talk to the people listening to this. You see how calm and rational Joe from Keene sounds? Not, well, I'm voting for him because he's going to destroy America, a bunch of Nazis, or he's mean, or he's just garbage. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for being the first civil caller in a very contentious election cycle. Go ahead.
I'm kind of a new listener for you, but I enjoy the show. So there are 4 basic reasons that I'm voting for Trump. For me, number 1 is the economy. Okay, so it's inflation and taxes. So when Trump got into office, my tax rate went from 15% to 12%. So I got a 3% tax cut immediately.
Same.
And yeah, same. So, and I knew people who would say, "Oh, Trump's raising our taxes."
Well, we had our deduction double too. The standard deduction double. I mean, I itemize and file, but for the 90% of Americans who take the standard deduction, y'all all got a tax cut.
Yeah, we got a tax cut, and so those tax cuts are going to end next year. And my taxes, as a
all right. So what are the other 3 things? Because I'm running out of time.
They're going to increase 3%. Okay, so that's the number 1. And inflation is ridiculous. Everything that the Democrat Party is going to do, it's going to increase inflation. Government spending is the number 1. Number 2 for me is immigration, and then protecting our borders. Live in Texas.
3.
You see it firsthand. That's the number 2. 3 is foreign policy. You need someone strong to stand up to some of these dictatorial leaders. Kamala's not going to do that. And then for his abortion, that's not like a huge voting point for me. But to hear all of these people voting only on abortion is very discouraging because they're just voting on, like, let's kill kids. I got a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old, and like, how do you just vote on that?
Well, look, I got an angry email like 2 breaks ago from Nancy. She says she was upset that I didn't give the other caller a rebuttal when she said she's voting Democrat based on abortion, and she quoted me, "Your response was simply, there's no changing her mind." But no, that doesn't mean like I agree with her stance or whatever. Right. But y'all have to understand, and I mean all you people who are a single issue voter based on abortion, pro or con, that there are a ton of people out there on both sides of the aisle. About 10% of people are pro-life. About 10% of people are genuinely pro-choice. You're never going to change their mind, and you're just going to have to write them off. You can't really use that to base your vote, because look, economics is my number one issue, and I would vote for someone who is an Austrian economist, no matter what their position on abortion was. If they were wide open or if they were completely shut, that's not why societies collapse. That's not why any empires collapse. Not why the Roman Empire collapsed, the Spanish Empire, the English Empire. Not whether or not they allowed third trimester abortions or first trimester abortions. And it's important on an individual basis that we save as many lives as possible, and every life is precious, and every baby, I wish we could save them all. But as far as something that's going to collapse the entire country, I'm worried about that first. The other one doesn't really affect me at all. 800-288-9227. Coming up next, as we go into this last day, we're going to talk to a GOP strategist and we'll see how he feels about his odds of winning tomorrow. This is The James Show. I'm James Parker. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, all you beautiful Texans. Welcome back to The James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Let's go. It is election eve. We're going to have the Decision 2024 special election edition tomorrow. There will be the recap show on Wednesday. And then God only knows if we'll know who our president is before the end of the week or any time soon. My next guest, Terry Schilling. He's back on The James Show. Welcome back. As a GOP strategist, how do you like your odds going into Election Day, Terry?
Well, thanks so much for having me, James. I'll tell you, I think I'd rather be Donald Trump than Kamala Harris, but I think it's so close. I really do think it's a jump ball. I'd just rather be in those big, giant, gold, shiny Trump shoes rather than these high heels from Kamala.
A couple things I'm blown away by as we're walking into Election Day is that Kamala did it. She went the whole 106 days without doing a press conference. How'd she get away with that?
Well, she only got away with it because of her great allies in the legacy media, right? This has probably been the biggest blight in our country in quite some time, just how biased and how much the media has put their thumb on the scale here in what is really a coin flip election. And you have to ask yourself, would this really be a coin flip election if the mainstream media, the legacy media, wasn't doing all in their power to flip it to the Democrats? I don't think it would be. I think it would be a landslide victory for Donald Trump if they were just had a modicum of fairness in them.
Well, we also have my belief that applies to every election of my lifetime, at least. That I don't know. I feel like some people have this myth that the press used to be like fair and balanced, and they've only lately been partisan and hacks. But when you go back, they've been hacks our entire lives.
No, I completely agree. There's always been a media bias, but it seems like they have lowered their standards. Right, there are all types of rumors about every politician that ever steps foot on stage, but they never run them. I mean, remember George W. Bush had a DUI story come out about him a week before the 2000 election. They held that off because they were running it through all of their systems. Now it seems to me as if the legacy media just runs with whatever the hottest thing is from the rumor mill. But I think the legacy media that we have today is just a bit more egregious than what we had in the past. It's declining in an incredible way.
And I imagine the common citizen doesn't care too much about this, but in RNC circles and in GOP circles, Is there any hay to be made with the FCC over the Saturday Night Live appearance from Kamala Harris? Because they turned in their little equal time, they have to file the equal time notice, some paperwork. And they said, yes, we'll of course, acquiesce and give Donald Trump equal time. But another Saturday Night Live doesn't come on until after the election. Is there anything that can be done about that? Or is that just a sneaky little trick?
No, I think it was probably just a sneaky little trick. I did see, I think there were 2 Trump commercials yesterday, one during NASCAR, and then I think there was one during Saturday Night Football. But no, I think that the Trump campaign should definitely sue NBC over this just to make sure that it was fair. But I'm not that familiar with how the FCC rules work in regard to this.
All right. So what's your message, your final message to voters, the people who didn't early vote, they're planning on voting tomorrow? What's the last thing you want them to hear from you?
You got to vote. You can't forget. You got to take your family and friends to go vote. If we just got everyone in this country to vote, I think we would win in a landslide. But so many of good Americans either put it off, don't think there's a big enough difference between the 2 candidates, and just skip it entirely. But there's a huge difference between these 2 candidates. One wants to fundamentally destroy this country and create something that is totally different, and the other wants to restore America to greatness, and that's Donald Trump. We have to vote for Donald Trump for our families, for our national security, for our economy, for our future. Donald Trump's the only candidate in this race that wants to prioritize protecting children, getting men out of our daughters' sports, for cleaning up our schools, making sure that our kids have the best education possible. We are in a major mess, guys, and we need to fix it. And the only guy that can fix it is Trump.
One more. I have a clip here this was Good Morning America today, Terry. And the contrast on how they report on Trump versus Kamala, I mean, it's so bad. This is almost a Saturday Night Live skit, but it's labeled as Good Morning America. I just want you to get your response to this clip.
Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris delivering 2 vastly different closing arguments. Trump's advisors have spent months trying to get him to focus on the message, immigration, and the economy. But in the final days, the former president only leaning more into violent and dark rhetoric.
Violent and dark rhetoric. Do you hear that? How dangerous he is and how evil he is? What is the deal with, how bad does it have to be before the common American goes, all right, that's a little hacky?
Well, you should never get high off your own supply, right? I mean, these people are in this insane world where everything they hear from Trump is read with the worst of intention. The guy's had 2 assassination attempts on him. He wants to tone down the rhetoric. No one wants the rhetoric to tone down more than him, but these guys keep ramping it up and acting like he's a threat to democracy and the next Adolf Hitler. It's just preposterous, and it's so comical. It's satirical at this point.
What do we know? We're just garbage. All right, thank you very much, Terry Schilling. What do you want to plug before you get out of here?
Just follow me online, Schilling1776 on X and Instagram. Schilling1776, SCHILLING 1776.
Thank you very much, Terry Schilling, on the James Show on WBAP. Coming up next, I'm going to play a couple more clips from this Good Morning America Open. This was today. This was the day before the election. You heard they just called all of Trump's rhetoric dark and violent. How did they report on Kamala? You'll hear it in about 5 minutes on the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome to the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. If you want to jump on the show, 800-288-9227. It's Election Day Eve. You heard me talking about a topic with my previous guest, Terry Schilling. And Kamala Harris was on Saturday Night Live this weekend. I don't know if you saw it. I saw it when it happened. Pretty good. But NBC has now filed a notice with the FCC saying that they will provide former President Donald Trump with equal time after Kamala Harris was in the Open on Saturday Night Live. FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr, one of the commissioners, not the guy running the thing, but one of the commissioners, posted on X that Kamala's appearance was a clear and blatant effort to evade the FCC's equal time rule because they filed the notice after the appearance. So here's a soundbite of what got her in so much trouble. I'm going to do about 2 minutes here because that's all she was on. But 2 minutes is enough to let you know shenanigans.
Wow, well, this is it. The last campaign stop in Pennsylvania.
Oh, what you have here is Maya Rudolph as Kamala Harris talking into a mirror to Kamala Harris.
Gosh, I wish I could talk to someone who's been in my shoes, you know?
And then they pull back the curtain. And here's
South
Kamala.
Asian woman running for president, preferably from the Bay Area.
May you never be that excited about any politician ever. Ever. They're not rock stars. They're not cool. Like, do you understand that? Like, if you own like 16 McDonald's, do you want the general manager to be somebody cool or someone good at running McDonald's?
It is nice to see you, Kamala.
It is nice to see you, Kamala. And I'm just here to remind you, you got this. Because you can do something your opponent cannot do. You can open doors.
He tugged on the garbage truck door twice, so apparently he can't open doors now.
They're like to a garbage truck, right?
I don't really laugh like that, do I?
A little bit. Now, Kamala, take my Pamela. The American people want to stop the chaos.
And end the drama.
With a cool new stepmamala. Kick back in our pajamas and watch a rom Kamala.
Like Legally Blondula.
And start decorating for Christmas. Fa la 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 la.
All right, now it's a funny skit. It's a cute skit. Kamala did okay. Notice they're not actually making fun of her. They're just kind of making funny little rhymes with her name. She's not a buffoon. She's not like Joe Biden was earlier, saying dumb things. Hey, Delaware part of Pennsylvania. You know, just not. She doesn't have a funny, funky, cartoonish voice. So it's a very soft comedy. It's a very soft caricature, but it's something. And they might get in trouble for it. FCC is looking into it right now. I will watch that and give you updates. 800-288-9227. Let's talk to Alan in Dallas. You're on WBAP. Who are you voting for and why?
I voted for Kamala Harris.
Why?
Character means a lot to me.
All right. No, not policy.
Well,
not how she's going to govern the country. Character. That's what you lead with. Not abortion. Not the border. Not the economy. Not the fact that my groceries are 30% higher.
The thing that I look at is that you've got senators and representatives up there. It's not a matter that she can do it herself. She has to have cooperation.
Man, you are just saying vague words that mean nothing. Cooperation to do what? Grow government, reduce the size of government, institute socialism. You know, someone with a good character who can get along with senators and stuff, who wants to institute a socialist economic policy is terrible for this country. And a guy who's a total a-hole, who's a jerk, who doesn't have any friends, but he wants to institute free market capitalism. Much better choice for this country. Picking someone on character, unless all of their other policy platforms are co-equal, is not a smart way to pick your vote, sir.
Well, I consider myself a Christian, and I will not go against what God says he hates. I will not do that.
What does God hate?
If you would just take your Bible and go to Proverbs chapter 6.
No, look, not time for that. Unless it mentions Trump.
You asked me, and I'm only telling you.
Well, Trump's not in Proverbs. I've read it.
But you haven't read Proverbs 6:16 through 19.
You know what? Go ahead. Let's hear it.
Well, I'm telling you, just look it up.
Okay. Let me ask you then, what religion is Kamala?
I am not.
Holy crap. So you're basing your vote on Christian principles, but you don't even know the religion of the lady you're lying about supporting?
Well, the thing of it is, she has a better character.
You don't even know. You don't even know what her religion is.
She says she believes in God.
Oh, really? When did she say that?
She said that on an interview.
Okay. She said that on it. So let's see. That narrows it down to every religion on earth. Okay. Belief in God. Got it. So I guess.
See, I'm not going there, because what you're trying to do is twist these things around.
No, I'm just trying.
I'm only telling you that God does not like that kind of character, and I cannot support what God says he doesn't like.
How do you know God doesn't like that kind of character? Like someone who cheats on their wife?
It's written in his word.
Listen.
I just gave you the scripture.
I know, but look at the guys. Look at the guys, and like 2 books over, they have this. David wrote part of Proverbs, or his son wrote part of Proverbs. He cheated on his wife. He had the husband killed. Uriah the Hittite. He's not a great guy, and God loved him. He paid for it. Yes, people pay for their sins. That's right. But there's plenty of examples of people with shortcomings in their moral character being beloved and supported and actually presented as king by God. Checkmate. I don't have time. 800-288-9227, because we got to play Dead or Alive next. Someone's going to win tickets to Midland on Dead or Alive, but we put together a special election edition of Dead or Alive. Since tomorrow's the election in honor of Decision 2024, all 10 of the people that are going to be in the episode of Dead or Alive coming up next have been on a presidential ticket. If you want to play Dead or Alive for a chance to win tickets to see Midland November 30th, 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there. Welcome to The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. So where are you watching the election tomorrow? That's going to be one of my topics. Don't call in now, but just if you have a party that you got going on, if you have a cool setup, you're like, yeah, we rent it out, like the Elks Club, or I've got a DJ, or we're taking over the back room at some bar. I would like to hear about that. It's not like call, but Facebook, message me, email me, james@wbap.com. I would like to hear what a bunch of y'all are doing. I was going to go hang out again with they were the Dallas Jewish conservatives. Now they're the American Jewish conservatives. They're having a big election watch party at some comedy club, but I think it's sold out. I don't even know if they'll squeeze me in. Garrett, are we going to go to that? I don't think we got on the list. So I don't know. We may be looking for a party, but don't call with that now. Send me an email, james@wbap.com. I would like to hear what all you cool kids are doing tomorrow for the election. And listen, this is the last little 24 hours. What you're going to see some pollsters do here in the last second is make some big moves. Now, why would they do that? Did they really get a whole bunch of new information? Did America's mind and any significance change drastically? Or do they want their last poll to be as close as the actual result as possible so they can brag? Well, yeah, that's kind of a big incentive there. So with that in mind, let's go see George Stephanopoulos on ABC News this weekend. Or, no, wait, was it ABC News this weekend? I think it might have been this morning. Talking to their pollster guy who's saying, hey, these favorability polls are a concern. They've moved a lot.
Yeah, it sure would. One thing we are sure about, Rick, is the country's in a sour mood.
Yeah, George, it sure is. And a whopping 74% of the country thinks that we are on the wrong track as a nation. That
listen to breakdown.
Half of all Harris supporters and 98% of Trump voters.
Did you hear that? 76% of the country thinks we're on the wrong track. Now, 98% of Trump voters, if you ask them if we're on the wrong track, they said yes. But you hear what he said? Half of Kamala Harris voters think the country's on the right track. She's in office. She's the vice president. Her party's the incumbent. There is no noticeable difference in the policy platforms between the current regime and Kamala Harris. So how does half the country go and vote for someone who has them on the wrong track? The answer to that is sheer, unadulterated, emotional hatred of Donald Trump. That's it. It's not a rational vote. We're on the wrong track. Should we change drivers? Well, what if the new driver's going to be Hitler? Okay, we'll keep the same driver. And not to say that everyone thinks he's Hitler. They just they hate him. They hate this guy. And once you can convince a voter to hate a guy, you don't have to worry about policy. It's not like, oh, I hate that guy, but I really like what he says on Social Security. Once you viscerally hate a guy, it's over. You don't have to do any more. That is a locked in vote. Now all you got to do is get them to the polls on election day or early voting, or maybe even a few days after, fill out a ballot in their name. Eric in Denton, you're on WBAP. Who you voting for and why?
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call. And what I wanted to say, I know I heard a previous caller, and he said that about trying to use the Bible, distorting the Bible to kind of attack Trump, and it's actually the opposite. Today's Dems are, everything they do is against, just about everything they do is against the Bible and against kind of common sense. And then, like, for example, Jeremiah 1:5, where the baby in the womb is considered precious in God's eyes. And then, of course, in Matthew, Jesus Christ talks about any one of those that causes these little ones, talking about children, to sin. It's better the millstone be fastened around his neck and be drowned in the depth of the sea. And he's talking about, and so when you see these leftists coming after these children and trying to groom them and trying to like push different sexuality and homosexuality and all these whatever on these children, like, I don't know how anyone in their right mind would think that's a good thing, but
well, the big difference is they haven't really changed. They've just been a little more bombastic about it. Because I remember, like, when I first started paying attention to the news when I was like 12 or so, there was always a fight over which one was the party of family values. Democrats, we're the party of family values, not the Republicans. They like, people getting shot in the streets because they like guns. And then the Republicans say, well, we're the party of family values because they abort babies and they want gays to get married. And so there used to be a struggle on who gets to carry the mantle of the party of family values. Democrats don't even attempt to do that anymore. Democrats are like, yeah, mutilate your kids' undercarriage. You're a dog and you can pretend to do the weird stuff with dogs in the bedroom, and we're going to start grooming your kids. Hope you don't have any problems with that. Like they're not even trying for the family values mantra anymore.
Well, what I was going to say was,
30 seconds.
Well, like Jesus, I'm sorry. Yeah, Jesus Christ. And it's almost like common sense. We know them by their fruit. So we know them by their character and their actions. So all this kind of talking stuff is kind of like just hot air. We know them by their fruits. So if they're always pushing, they're for aliens and criminals before Americans, and they're against children.
No. Here's the best examples of your fruit. Eric, I know exactly what you're saying. I can just do it faster. I can do it faster.
Yes,
in the schools, if you take out a public school library, they want the gay BCs in there. They want the Bible out. That's all you need to know.
Yes, sir.
They won't let you ban grooming children into anything sexual. I don't care if it's straight or gay, but no Bible. God forbid, no Bible. You're bringing up some good points, Eric. I'm sorry I ran out of time. All right, coming up tomorrow, it's Election Day. In the meantime, Mark Levin's going to be next. Thank you very much for listening to my show. Tell someone about The James Show, and if you need to hear more, I'm about to go put up the podcast for this thing at WBAP.com and the WBAP app. I'm James Parker. This has been The James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.